I don't know about you, but I feel like muffins combine the best of both worlds, of both pastry and healthy snack. It's like I'm eating a dessert, but it's way healthier and better for me in the long run. My banana oat chocolate chip muffins are gluten-free, refined sugar-free, and they have 3 superfoods, including Greek yogurt, oats, and chia seeds, which are all chock full of vitamins and minerals. And these muffins are also anti-inflammatory and they are easily digestible, which is really important for a gentle tummy. I'll begin with 3 cups of quick oats that I'm then going to grind down into a flour. And I'm using my NutriBullet, which is definitely my bestie in the kitchen. Like, I seriously use it probably at least 2 times a day. So I just filled it with the oats, twist on the cap, and press down. And within just a few seconds, I now have a very fine oat flour that will make a really smooth texture in these muffins. And it also kind of helps hide the fact that there are oats in the muffins, which is really good if you have some younger mouths in the house or teenagers like I do right now. Bananas are definitely one of my favorite natural sweeteners, and you want to wait until they start to get the brown spots because that's when they're going to taste sweetest. These are a little extra brown because I put them in the fridge overnight just to keep them from getting too brown before I can make this recipe. So I'll begin by just adding 2 large bananas to my bowl. You could just mash the bananas with a fork, but to make sure they're really smooth and don't have any banana clumps in the muffins, I like to use my immersion blender. But first I need to add some liquid. So I'm adding the 3/4 cup of almond milk to the bowl, and then just taking my immersion blender, put it about medium power. And now my bananas are really smooth without any chunks. Next, I'm going to add the rest of my wet ingredients, which includes 3 eggs and 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt, which adds a lot of protein to the muffins. I'm also going to add 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, which is another great sweetener to use if you're not wanting to use processed white sugar. Another ingredient I really like to use in my baking is apple cider vinegar. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. And I feel like this just gives it just a little bit more flavor, especially when it has fruit in the recipe. I just feel like it kind of enhances that natural fruit flavor. And then I'm going to add just 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'll just use my tablespoon because I already have it out. Just fill it up basically halfway. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of my chia seeds to my liquid. And now I'll just use a whisk to blend these together. And I just want to make sure that the eggs are nicely mixed. Now I'm going to add in my dry ingredients, which is the 3 cups of blended oat flour, which now if I measured it out, it would probably be about a little more than 2.5 cups because it becomes a little more, takes up less space after you grind it down. And then I'll add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and I like to use the aluminum-free kind. And then I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'll add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, just to give it a little more flavor. Now before I mix this, I want to add my coconut oil, but right now it is winter time in Phoenix, and so my coconut oil is solid at room temperature. So first I need to microwave this to get it down to a liquid so that it will blend easily. Now that my coconut oil is melted, I can add 3 tablespoons of it to the batter. I'm just going to pour it kind of on the outer edge so it can go right into the liquid. And now I'm just going to use my spatula to mix all of this in. And you don't want to overmix at this point. You want to mix just until it looks like all of the flour and all the dry ingredients are combined into the liquid. And now for the best part, which is the chocolate chips. There are lots of variety of chips out there depending on how you like to have them sweetened. The ones I'm using are sweetened with dates because I'm trying to avoid having any white refined sugar in this recipe. And we'll just gently fold those in until they're well mixed. I'm excited to show you this silicone muffin tray. It's flexible and non-stick, and it is like the best thing ever. It has a metal frame around it, so it keeps it rigid, but then the cups are flexible and it doesn't require any non-stick spray. For the longest time, I thought these scoops were kind of silly and I didn't use one until I tried it. This is the 3rd cup scoop, and it is the best thing ever because it helps give even amounts as you're putting them into your cups, and it also keeps it a little more neat and tidy so you don't have like batter going all over the place. So So I'm just gonna fill each of these cups with batter. This smells so good already. I can smell the bananas and the little bit of cinnamon and the apple cider vinegar. Since this recipe makes a generous amount of batter for the 12 cups, I'm gonna go ahead and fill them all almost to the top. And to make these extra appealing to my teenagers, I'm going to add a few chocolate chips on the top just to remind them of what's inside. I find it does help if you just push them in a little bit as you add them to the top. It's so true that we eat with our eyes, isn't it? These look so good. And so now it's ready to go into a 350-degree oven for 22 minutes. All right, these are fresh out of the oven. I did add an extra minute to my cook time for a total of 23 minutes. And I did set this tray onto my granite countertop for about 10 minutes just to let them cool. But you can see they have this really pretty round dome shape on the top of them, even though we didn't have any gluten or any white flour in the recipe. And what I love about these trays is they do cool off very quickly. And then to get the muffins out of the cups, you simply push from underneath and they pop right out. And you can see how easily they come out of the tray. And this was without using any cooking spray. And they have just a nice little brown to the bottom of them, and then just a little bit of brown around the sides, so we know they're perfectly cooked. All right, now for the best part. Open those up and the chocolate is still nice and warm, and they're just light and fluffy inside. It's so good. I definitely get the banana flavor, and it's all just very soft and moist from the Greek yogurt. And you'd never know there's chia seeds in there, but you get all the nutritional benefit of the omega-3s. That was so good. You can see why these are a staple in my kitchen. My kids are gonna love these.